Hi, and welcome to the Gen X podcast. This is Evan,
And I'm Brady.
and we're doing a rewind for you this week. When you think back to the 70s and 80s, it was a better time. That's what this podcast is all about, right? Like the
Yes,
Gen
sir.
X Rewind podcast. We want to take our pencil eraser, right? Our number two pencil eraser. We're going to stick it into the cassette tape and we're going to rewind it, right? Back to the 70s and 80s when things were better. I actually had somebody, a work-related person, ask me a question this week, Brady. They're like, "Hey, I see you have Spotify or you do Spotify, and what's your favorite genre of music?" And I said, "Well, the 80s, right?"
Right?
And the person went like this, and it's like, which is great because that's what we used to do in the 80s as
Yeah,
well, was you know, the
that's
fist
right.
pump, right? So, but just for informational purposes, the greatest generation of all time, Gen X, are people born between 1965 and 1980. In fact, a friend on Instagram was showing a bottle of Chateau Lafite, I think it was something, a very expensive bottle of wine. And it was a 1966. And I said, yeah, that's the greatest year there ever was 1966. So you maybe can take a guess at why I might say that. But Brady and I are just two regular guys. I mean, I think we're regular,
Pretty
right?
normal, pretty average Joes.
I yeah, I feel like we're pretty average Joes. We're married and have families and live in houses and drive cars. So
Yeah,
I mean, what?
yeah. White picket fence,
That's
401k. Yeah,
yeah, that's right. I mean, it's like it's Sunday as we're taping this, and I don't know about you, Brady, but on Sundays, in fact, especially today because it was much cooler,
yeah.
I spent most of the afternoon doing yard work, which also makes me normal, probably, right? Like, and I have the battle scars. Like, you and I have had many discussions about the curse of the bougainvillea
Oh, yeah.
and that this is the bane of our existence, having to trim that spawn of Satan plant.
Yeah.
Uh, and it ends up poking you and scratching you, and I'm bleeding from my
Oh,
foot and I'm bleeding from my thumb, and I trimmed like 30 bushes, and that was my afternoon. I have a really nice farmer's tan, which is okay, but I actually just heard a clap of thunder, like
oh, yeah.
literally like 5 minutes ago. So this is crazy. We haven't
Yeah,
had rain for a while, so that would be really, really
yeah.
nice.
Well,
Uh,
the reason why, Evan, is because I got my car washed yesterday.
yes,
Oh,
exactly. Of course, I
true
held
story.
off.
Yeah.
I did. I held off on doing much with the cars. Uh, and they'll stay in well, no, actually, my son's gonna go out later, so that his car might get wet.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's kind of that's how you summon the rain, right? It's like
Right.
it's not a rain dance, it's a
Yeah.
wash your car.
It's this vicious cycle with us because we park, people that work that have to park outside probably commiserate. There's here in Arizona, we have these black birds, and for some reason, they like to land on top of your car while it's parked. And you come out from work and there's bird poop all over the top, running down your windshield.
Yeah.
It's like, what is the draw for these birds to feel like they need to do that?
And
But
why? And plus, the surface of your car is like 500 degrees. So why
yeah,
would they
right.
even want to land on it, right? Like,
Right.
and of course, like I always tell my wife, it's like when you get home at night, could you do a lap around the car and see if there's any bird poop?
Yeah.
Because if we don't get it right now, it like hardens like concrete.
Right.
And then it like stains your paint and everything
Yeah.
else if you don't get it off in time.
Oh,
And I'm
yeah.
out there with a clay bar trying to remove it and buff it out and
Yeah.
all this stuff. It's like this is like this is life, right? Like
Yeah.
that's trimming
Yeah.
plants and cleaning cars. It's
Yeah.
like I don't know what we thought of as kids, what life would be like. I'm sure we thought it would be all circuses and pizza or something, but
Yeah.
it doesn't, that's not exactly how it goes,
Yeah.
right? It's
Just
cleaning cars
adults.
and trimming plants.
Yeah. Just adults standing in an arcade with endless quarter supply, playing all day long is probably.
You'd think you'd make all this money. I would just have a stack of quarters like a mile high and I would be playing video games all
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
What happened? What happened to that? Right? That was
No.
the dream of every kid. Somehow it doesn't pan out that way.
No.
And I was gonna say too, it's like uh my son actually got his first job this week. It doesn't start till after school, but got his first job, and I was congratulating him and everything. And then I'm thinking to myself, oh, so for the next 60 years, enjoy,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
like it's kind of a cold reality that hits you.
Yeah. And I'm
Uh
sure when he gets that first paycheck and
that
he's how much
helps.
taxes
But the
take
taxes, right? I
effect.
said, wait till you see and not
Oh,
even so much like when you make that little, you don't even really, I mean, you'll get most of that tax money back, but you see that FICA line and you're
oh,
like, what the heck is this?
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
7% of every check for the rest of my life.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's
So
bonkers.
hopefully with some tariff action here, maybe taxes go away for those making under 200,000. That's the promise, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That
I
would,
heard Timu was going to only ship products made in America or something like that to avoid tariffs or whatever. And I'm like, it's working, right? That's the whole point
yeah.
and maybe the prices will be a little bit higher because I saw a great interview, just as a little segue here. I saw a great interview where a media person was interviewing someone else and said, well, you got to hand it to China, though. They work hard and they produce a lot and have this, good economy and everything. And the person who was being interviewed, a female, I don't remember who she was. She said, "You mean slave labor,
Yeah.
right? Like, I think the word you're looking for is slave labor."
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
essentially that's what it is. Like if you
Right.
don't work, you disappear, right?
Yeah.
Like so
Yeah.
it's not like they're just all happily going to work in a factory every day and saying, "Wow, look at how
Right.
productive I'm helping my country be." That's not how it is, right?
Yeah. I
It's
think for
12-year-olds assembling iPhones for $1 a day, right?
right. Yeah. I think for me, the most telling thing that I learned about China was that they had to put nets up at the bottom of their
Yeah,
building
because people were jumping
because
off.
people are jumping off to get to try and end their life. And then the other thing was those, the death penalty. They actually have a van that pulls up to the house. The people get up, they get the guy that has been, condemned to death, and they just kill him in the van, and off they go. I mean, it's like
Unbelievable.
I can't. I mean, culturally, how do you even
No, I
from America? How do you even
eh,
process that?
no, and how do they as a country, as a people, how do they think it's okay or continue to do that, right? It's like, is it time for another Tiananmen Square,
Yeah,
right? Like, I think people
yeah,
have forgotten about that.
yeah,
But that was a big event, right? And
yeah.
so that's interesting. So it's NBA playoff time. I don't really care. One, Suns aren't in it, and two, I don't really care anyway because it's a joke. Everybody travels. It's 3-point shots. It's two dribbles and a 3-point shot, right? It's like, but there was a couple game sevens. I'm just happy to say all the LA teams are out. So
Exactly.
I
Yes.
have no problem with that. I always enjoy seeing that. LeBron's out. The Clippers are out. So, I don't know. Maybe you guys are Nugget fans now, or something for the rest of the way, but it's like, I don't really care. So,
Yeah. No, I'm not. And being from Michigan, there's such a rivalry with the Red Wings and the Avalanche that I rooted against. If you're watching any of the hockey,
hockey, yeah.
That there are some exciting. There's a lot of.
Ultimately, hockey is a better sport, right? It's
Oh
better
man,
spectator sport. It's so much more like there's so much more action. It's so much more unpredictable. Like
yeah,
anything can happen.
yeah.
Um, it's just I don't for those people who don't either watch hockey or go to hockey, it's such a fantastic spectator sport. I
Oh
just
man.
you and I used to go to Coyotes games and stuff, and we went to that playoff game 8, 10 years ago. It's one of the best sporting events I've ever been to.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was
Yeah.
just a fantastic game, and the crowd was absolutely lit.
Oh
And
yeah.
I mean, it was outstanding. It's like I would rather watch hockey any day than
Oh.
almost any sport, honestly. It's just a great sport to watch, right?
And I did watch Game 7, Dallas against the Avalanche, and it was in Dallas. It was all green. Everyone wore green, so the entire stadium filled with
That's
green.
cool.
They were losing their mind. I mean, it was just every time they bring the puck up and get mid-ice, the crowd, you could hear the volume going up.
Yeah.
And they were down by two. It was 2-0 with like 10 minutes left in the third period, Game 7, and they got 2 goals and they ended up going ahead and winning 3-2, 4-2 because they pulled the goalie. I mean, it was
Yeah.
that
Empty netter.
intense. And Colorado was, they were pushing and almost scoring at the end, pulled the goal. I mean, it was just phenomenal entertainment.
It is ultimately it is fantastic entertainment, especially playoff hockey. Because I
Yeah.
mean, every goal is so meaningful,
Oh yeah.
right? It's just like no game is ever over. There, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Team scoring goals late. It's just so exciting. The
Yeah.
players are into it. I watch these NBA guys, it's like a regular season game. They're just out there
Yeah.
jogging up the court, shoot a three, grab a rebound, jog back. It's just like LeBron flops. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's like it's not even watchable. So
No, to me, the NBA now is the team goes down the floor, there's a shot up, then the whistle blows, and then you've got whining and crying to the ref.
yeah,
I didn't touch
5 minutes
him.
of
He
whining
touched
for the
him.
refs. Yeah,
They go down the floor. The next same thing there, whining and crying. I didn't touch him. I didn't touch him. Oh, what are you crazy? I mean, it's the whole game, back and forth.
that's
That's
the whole
all it
game.
is. And it's
Yeah.
just annoying.
I was thinking back to some of those Celtics and Lakers series where there was fists flying and there was, I mean, elbows and guys flying into the stands,
Oh
getting
yeah.
pushed out of bounds, coaches
Oh
losing
yeah.
their mind. And I mean,
Yeah.
that was some exciting basketball in the 80s, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
the 80s was a great time for basketball. So many great players
Oh
all
yeah.
the way through the mid 90s with Jordan and all of that. That was good basketball. And
Yeah.
somewhere along the line, the NBA just lost its way, right? And I don't really know what happened, but it just lost its way.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's the different sport now. Hand checking, all that is out, and the refs dictate so much now that they could call the way they call. Well, I guess in football too, they determine quite a bit now, where it's
Yeah.
it's getting to that point where man,
And I like it. And that's what I like about the NHL too. I mean, they let the players play in the
yeah,
playoffs, right? Stuff
yeah,
that would get called, ticky-tack stuff that would get called maybe during the season. It's like, nope, we want the players to decide it. And I
right,
think they like it that way. The fans like it that way. It's like, for the most part, it's like, let's let the guys on the ice, unless it's really blatant or there's, gloves are dropped or something. It's like, let's just let the guys play
yeah.
and it'll sort itself out, right? I saw something on Instagram and it was total career saves. This was interesting because I didn't even put it together. I was thinking about, okay, best goalies of all time, right? So total career saves. Who would you guess is the leader in total career saves in the NHL
Currently or just in history?
in history?
Oh, in history. Oh boy. Oh man. Well, somebody who would have had to have played a long time.
Yeah.
Well, I could throw out Patrick Waugh.
It's Patrick Waugh. Yeah, it's Patrick Waugh, and it's by like 2000. Like he's so
Yeah,
far ahead of everybody
yeah,
else, right? And I
yeah,
just didn't realize that he was that far ahead of everybody else, like all the other great goaltenders of all time. And then he's just like on this tier. The
yeah,
graphic, they had everybody else is down here around 4,000, like top keepers, right?
yeah,
Tony Esposito. I mean, everybody you can imagine, and then Rawa's like on this thing way up here. He's just
yeah,
way above everybody else. Ken
yeah,
Dryden, is in the 3 or 4,000 range. I mean, all the top goalies that you could think of, and Patrick was way above all
yeah.
of them. I didn't realize there was that much separation, but just a fantastic career, right? Like
Oh, yeah,
just an amazing career. So there
yeah,
was another sporting event this weekend, and I always get a kick out of it because the Kentucky Derby has 8 hours of television coverage for a 2-minute race, right? I mean, you think the Indianapolis 500 coverage is bad or, whatever, like the Masters or something. It's like literally it was on TV for 8 hours and the race is 2 minutes long,
yeah,
right? And all the jockeys look like they're AI because you can't imagine that full-grown humans are like this tall, right?
yeah,
I'm always, and they're proportional, right?
yeah,
It's a guy, he's like 4'11" and weighs 110 pounds, but he's a full-grown man. It's like,
yeah.
it's crazy, right? Um, but I thought it was kind of interesting that sovereignty beat journalism. It's like I was like, boy, there was lots of people making good memes about that, right? It's
Yeah,
how true it is.
yeah,
And I've got it's kind of a segue into our question segment, into the rewind segment with our three questions, but um, I always watch the Kentucky Derby, and I usually watch the other two races. But after the race, they were asking the owner and the trainer and stuff, like, well, are you going on to the next race? Well, it's something we have to talk about. Why is it something you have to talk about?
yeah, right,
Like, what's the point of winning the Kentucky Derby and then not going for the Triple Crown?
right, right. Yeah,
Well, we got to make sure the horse is, it's a horse, right?
yeah,
Got 2 weeks off. Like I think it's going to be ready.
yeah.
Uh,
I
but
wonder now.
they were running in the slop. I mean, it was
Yeah,
major slop. The jockeys are completely covered in mud. The horses are completely covered in mud. The jockeys go through like 8 sets of goggles. Have you ever seen that? Like they
yeah,
are flipping goggles the whole race.
yeah. That's crazy.
It
I
is
just
crazy.
wonder how much money changes hands in that 2 minute
Oh
time
my gosh, a
frame.
billion.
I,
It's got to be, right?
yeah, it's out of control.
There was like 150,000 people at Churchill Downs,
Wow.
right? It's amazing. It's like the Indianapolis 500 where they have like 250, but it's like 150,000 people there. They're betting, like everyone's betting.
Yeah.
And the favorite didn't win. I think Sovereignty was like a 7 or an 8 to 1, so pretty decent. Paid off $18, something like that, I think, on a
Yeah.
$2 bet. So, you could have made pretty good money.
Yeah.
It's a pretty amazing thing. When I was in college, it's the only time I ever went to a horse track and bet when I was in college. And we got the racing form, and there was two local newspapers there in Minneapolis, St. Paul paper and Minneapolis paper, and they each had five experts picking every race, right? So my friends and I, if every guy, all 10, picked the same horse, we picked that horse to show. So they're picking it to win, but we like played it safe, pick it to show. We won every bet, right?
Huh.
10 races, we won every time. Now, it's a $2 bet and you make 250.
Yeah.
280, right? Like to show.
It's a living, right?
It's a 3-to-1 horse, and you bet it to show. You make like
Yeah.
250 on a $2 bet, and people would say, well, that's a sucker's bet, right? It's like, hey, I went in with $20 and I came out with like 38. So I spent what, 3 hours at the track and came away with more money than I paid.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, to me,
That's
that
the
was a smart day.
that's I've been to Vegas a handful of times, and that's always the goal is I'm gonna stop as soon as I'm in the plus, I'm
Yeah.
done.
I'm
And
taking my chips and going home. And that's what we
then
did. It's like only one race did we bet more than like $2.
yeah.
Like I think one we put like $5 on a horse and won. We won every race because we found horses that were picked almost unanimously to win. So
Mm.
if you pick that, I mean, the horse would have to break its leg probably not to
Yeah.
finish in the top three if like 10 people are saying it's going to win,
Right.
right? So you feel like you had a little control over it and they're not putting up big money and everything else. And so you had a nice day at the horse track and you came away with more money than you showed up with. So it's like,
Yeah.
how is that not a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my question is about the Kentucky Derby. Did you watch the Kentucky Derby when you were a kid?
No, I didn't. I don't think. I mean, we'd see the highlights on. I'm trying to remember how far back Sports Center goes. The news,
80s.
the news would recap it, and you'd see the clips of it. But I don't remember sitting down and watching the race. Yeah.
I did. My dad and I would watch most of the Triple Crown races,
Huh.
and partly because when I was a kid, and this is before your time, there was a horse called Secretariat. Maybe you've
Oh
heard of
yeah.
him.
Hmm.
And he was a national icon at that time in 73 and he won the Triple Crown and all three races he set records and they still stand.
Yeah.
52 years later, the horse was so an interesting little fact. Every horse in yesterday's, there was 19 horses, I think, in yesterday's Kentucky Derby. Every single one of them was a descendant of Secretariat. Every
Really?
single one of them had Secretariat in their line. That's
Oh,
how impactful that horse was.
yeah.
And if you ever want to watch something, watch Secretariat's Belmont Stakes race where it wins by like 31 lengths, something. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Huh.
How is a horse that much better than everybody else?
Yeah.
But it was every every quarter of the race, it got faster. Like it's split times, every quarter was faster. That's
Yeah.
just how amazing that horse was, right?
Yeah.
So that got me into horse racing because that happened when I was like 7 years old, and it was so amazing that
Sure.
you wanted to see another horse repeat that.
Hmm.
And I think Seattle Slew won in the late 70s, and then nobody won the Triple Crown for like 30 years, something like that. It was crazy. But that was something that I remember as a kid was watching Secretariat and just being amazed. Like, is it going to always be that way? Is there always going to be a horse that's going to win by 25 lengths? It's like
Yeah.
it was
Yeah. There's
pretty crazy.
there's only a handful of famous, the Seabiscuit.
Yeah,
I think Man of War was
Man
a
of
big
War.
one
Yeah,
back in the day. But yeah, there's only a handful of names that I remember.
Affirmed is the horse that won the Triple Crown. Whenever, not that it was one of the first to win it after Seattle Slew back in the 70s, I think,
Mhm.
is Affirmed. And there's been a few since, but not many, right?
Yeah.
It's just I don't know, is it like the owners are afraid? I was trying to put it together yesterday in my head. So you win the Kentucky Derby, what would be your motivation for not running the other races? One, the horse could get hurt,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And you've already got a moneymaker right now, right?
Right.
So I guess that's it. The other one is what if it loses the other races? Does now is it is it worth less now because it won the Kentucky Derby, but it lost the other races? So now it's not as valuable for stud
Right.
or whatever.
Probably. Yeah.
Probably right.
Something like that.
So if you win a close Kentucky Derby, maybe you do and maybe you don't run the second race.
Yeah.
Just for that. But that kind of sucks, right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of lame.
Well,
And speaking of the NBA playoffs, did you have a favorite player when you were a kid?
well, yeah, I mean, as a kid growing up, watching the Pistons, so I had, different favorites. So I liked Isaiah Thomas and I liked Joe Dumars, but Bill Laimbeer, if you're from that area, you absolutely loved Rick Mahorn and Bill Laimbeer. They were iconic.
The Bad Boys.
The bad boys, they used every one of their fouls, were if you came into the lane, they would just use their
Hammer
foul.
you.
They would hammer you.
Yeah.
So it sent a message so teams wouldn't just go through the lane. It was very effective. But everyone else outside of Michigan probably hated their guts and, because they were almost like big time wrestlers, the way that they
Yeah,
would,
it was.
and, like I didn't touch him after you see the replay and he just
Yeah, and
hammered
he just
the guy.
like
And it's like,
clotheslined a
what did I
guy.
do? Yeah.
So I got a story about that because I ran a basketball camp when I lived in Florida, and Kent Benson, Indiana Hoosier National Championship center and NBA star, and the kids would always ask him, like, "Did you play against Jordan? Did you play against this guy and that guy and stuff?" And he said, "Yeah." He did. He played against those guys, and he said Jordan's probably the best player he's ever seen. But he did dunk on Jordan a couple times, he said. So he said that was kind of a career highlight for him.
Yeah.
Um, uh, Somebody asked him, what did you think of Bill Laimbeer? And Kent Benson said, "Well, son, my mom taught me when I was a kid that if you didn't have something good to say about somebody, you shouldn't say anything at all about them. So I'm not going to say anything about Bill Laimbeer." So message communicated, right? He did not
Yeah.
care for that guy. But like you said, if he's on your team, you like him. If he's not on your team, you hate him. He's one of
Oh
those
yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, he played the part and
He did.
he really embraced it and went with it. And yeah, it was effective. But yeah, gosh, Robert Parrish, I remember punching him in the face
Oh
and,
gosh, yeah, because they would
and
get so sick of him. I
oh
remember that.
yeah.
I remember that. And Robert Parrish had just had enough, right? It's
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
deck this guy.
Oh gosh, cheap shot after cheap shot. He actually broke Isaiah Thomas's ribs in practice. That was a story I remember.
Crazy.
The guy didn't let up, and in practice,
No.
I guess Isaiah Thomas was coming in through the lane, and he just instinctively hammered him and broke one of his ribs. It's like who does that? Like
Yeah.
it's
It's
a team.
but it's true though. It's like every team needs a guy like that. It's like a hockey guy, like your enforcer in hockey, right? Like you have to
Yeah,
have that guy.
right,
And he's probably, I mean, he's just a role player. He's out there, maybe grabs a few rebounds, but he's in there to just be muscle, right?
right.
And to make everybody else's life miserable. That's
Yeah,
his job. And there's
yeah,
been some great ones in the NBA like that over the years, and it's a very effective person to have, right, on your team.
yeah. Well, the Phoenix Suns, they're learning the hard way by putting all these, all stars on the court, but none of them have that grit or that
Yeah.
muscle to rebound and play defense, and so they stink because of
I'll
it.
just remember, you remember and his name is escaping me at the moment. Maybe you can remember, but the guy who clotheslined Kobe Bryant in the playoffs for the Suns. It's not Boris Diaw. Shoot, my
Oh,
my best friend Ben's gonna kill me that I can't remember his name, but it
yeah,
just
yeah. He
absolutely
was a
escapes me at the
guard.
moment.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
he,
can picture him too, but he just absolutely clotheslined Kobe. And of
yeah,
course, the Lakers and Lakers fans, oh, dirty play and everything. And every Suns fan was like, yes, it's like it's about time somebody put that guy on the floor. And it, that's super effective, right? Like you said, it's like sometimes you just have to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like we talked about last time with baseball, the pitchers had more freedom to kind of, if they
Yeah,
need,
plunking guys right and left, right?
yeah, they get ejected now, after one of those. But yeah, if you have a guy who's crowding the plate and owning the inside of the strike zone, just hunkered down there, they would send that message. Nope, that's
And
my part of the plate.
yeah, and I guarantee you that Nolan Ryan got 7 no hitters because guys weren't leaning in over
Right.
the plate, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's a reason why you got 7 no hitters. It's like if you're afraid of a 101-mile-an-hour fastball hitting you in the head,
Yeah,
you're
and he
not
did.
diving in on them.
He did have to give a knuckle sandwich or two to
Yes,
start.
he did. And he did not back down. That was one of the pitchers
No.
who I think batters, they like came out in front of the plate, and then the catcher probably said to him, "Really?"
Yeah.
Like that's Nolan Ryan out there. He's not gonna mess around. And then, talked a good game and then took his bat and went back to the dugout.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
I don't think you want to do that. Also today, it is May 4th, so it's May the 4th be with you, which has
Yeah.
become a thing now, and tomorrow's Cinco de Mayo. So, but May the 4th, so it puts us in the mind of Star Wars. What was the first Star Wars movie that you saw in the theater?
Oh man, that is a good question. I may have it may have been Return of the Jedi because I think I was pretty young when the first one came out. I wouldn't have been able old enough.
77, and then
Yeah.
I
So I think
think
it was Return of the Jedi.
Empire was 80 or 81, right? And Jedi
Yeah.
was maybe 83, I
Yeah. I
think,
think
maybe something like that.
the Jedi. I would have loved to have seen the original, that
Yeah, I
was
saw the original in the theater as a 11-year-old kid or something, and
wow.
was pretty awesome. And then I think it was in junior high when uh, the second one came out. And it's funny because it didn't like the movie doesn't have an ending, right? It ends kind of in the middle of the story, like on purpose, right? So when you see it, you're like you're processing the whole Darth Vader's Luke Skywalker's dad thing, right? Like that part, you just come out and you're like, what did I just see?
Yeah.
And literally most people thought that was a lie, that
Hmm.
Darth Vader was just messing with Luke's head.
Huh.
And the majority of the people did not believe it because it came from him.
Hmm.
So Lucas said they had to confirm that that was true in the next movie.
Hmm.
Uh, in Return of the Jedi, they had to confirm it by having Yoda say it,
Yeah.
right? So Luke asks Yoda, and Yoda says, "Your father, he is," right? Uh, it was up until that point that most fans did not believe that it was true.
Hmm.
Just like Luke didn't believe it was true. That's a lie.
Yeah.
That's impossible, right? Like people didn't believe it was true.
Yeah.
And they were surprised that, that nobody was believing it, right? They're like,
Yeah.
well, we're going to have to write in having Yoda confirm that that's true in the next movie because the fans don't believe it, right?
Yeah. And
There was no internet to discuss it or debate
right.
it or anything like that back then.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and let's talk a little bit about, I mean, the difference as a Gen Xer, the experience of going to the movie theater versus now. I look back and I think of the movies that I saw in the theater, back in the 80s and how everybody in there, it was like you were together going through
Yeah,
this adventure or this
community
journey.
thing.
You could hear gasps and you could hear
Yeah.
people clapping when the good guy emerged. I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of naive and silly now, and most people might think it is, but it was so much more enjoyable of an experience to go to the movie theater to have that type of experience. And then when I compare it to today, how, yeah, it's the comfort level is way higher. You're laying down practically in
Yeah,
these
falling asleep.
lounging. Yeah, you've got your cup holder and your food, storage bin next to you. It's like, yeah, and you can, yeah, nice big leather seat chairs. It's like, what they've done is really incredible with comfort, but it's just not the same. It's not
No,
the same
it
experience.
feels it's kind of sterile and plus back then, my TV at home was a 20-inch,
Right.
TV.
Yeah.
And, movies were, if they wanted to get fancy, they would shadow box them, right? So now it's even smaller.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and now you got a 75-inch TV with, Dolby surround sound at home. What do I need to go to a
Right.
movie theater for and drop $15?
Right.
And
Yeah.
$10 for popcorn and soda and all, it's $100. Take a family of four to a movie and get food. It's like,
Yeah.
what? Why would I do that? And then there's no guarantee that it's a good movie because most of them are crap,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
uh, it's much more enjoyable for me to just, turn the lights down, put it on my own TV, watch it when I want, pause it when I have to go to the bathroom or get
Right.
something to eat,
Right. And as a
just
middle-aged
way.
man, that's something that happens quite frequently too.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And it's like it's just I don't like going out that much anyway. So it's like,
Yeah.
and then I don't see movies coming out that I even want to see most of the time, right?
Yeah.
It's just not that interesting. All right, what kind of questions you got for me, Brady?
Well, if we keep it along the same lines, what would you say the best and the worst movies you've seen in the theater when you were back, let's say back in the 80s?
Yeah, let's see. Well, my first this is a funny story maybe. So, my first R-rated movie, right? You turn 17 and there's always a friend who's like, "Okay, come on, you got to go see an R-rated movie at the theater," right? So, it's not, it's such a different thing now because back then there was no other way to see an R-rated movie. I mean, there was HBO, there was barely Blockbuster at the
Right.
time. I mean, there was, but that was the only way, and that was more complicated and everything else. And maybe a friend had HBO and stuff. But so a friend of mine, and he took me to see Spring Break.
Spring Break.
And it's like, yeah, 1983 Spring Break. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's not any good. It's raunchy, but it's
Uh,
not it's not like Animal House good raunchy, right? Like Animal House is hilarious, right? When I first saw Animal House, I was like, this is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. And I was like, 16 or 17 years old. I'm like, this is being an adult is going to be funny. Right? It's like, then you go see a piece of crap like Spring Break and you're like, oh, not so much, right? It's like, so that was a pretty bad movie in a theater. I came out of there and I was just like, yeah, I wasn't missing anything.
yeah.
It's not, I wasn't missing anything.
Yeah.
Um, so, but I think I said before the best movie I ever saw in a theater as a kid was Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
That was it was and still is a fantastic movie theater movie.
Yeah.
It's incredibly entertaining. It's great in the theater.
Yeah.
That's one of the best theater experiences ever. Another one, and it's funny now because it's like a 30-year-old movie now, which doesn't even seem possible. But Jerry Maguire was a great movie in the theater. And you're like, but there's no special effects and no whatever. It was the laughter, right? It's like planes, trains, and automobiles too. Seeing it in a theater and hearing 500 people laugh nonstop in a movie
Yeah.
is an experience,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Right.
And I first saw Jerry Maguire in a movie theater, and there was like two other people. I went to like a 2 o'clock matinee, nobody else in the theater. I was laughing. It was funny. It was a good movie, right? Then some other friends wanted to go see it. So we went to see it on like a Friday night, packed theater, 500 people. The laughter was amazing. It was
Yeah.
nonstop, people laughing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much better of an experience, right?
Yeah.
Laughing with these other people.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes it.
And it makes a difference in a comedy, right? To just
Yeah.
hear other people laughing and enjoying the movie, right?
Mhm.
Same thing that you said, just an enjoyable experience. You're all in it together and you're watching a
Right.
funny movie and everybody's just laughing. And it
Yeah.
just is a really, uh, really enjoyable experience, right? And
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, um, other people laugh more in movies usually than I do. Like, they laugh at dumb stuff, I think. But Jerry Maguire is like genuinely funny, and there's lots of very funny things in the movie, but
Mm.
people were just laughing throughout it in the theater. I mean, everybody was probably drunk. It was a Friday night, but I mean, it's a funny movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I thought that was interesting. It's funny. Speaking of movies that I didn't sort of completely understand the first time, Three Amigos, I just watched it last night. Haven't seen it in probably 15 years or whatever. But
Uh-huh.
I saw that in the theater and I didn't laugh very much. I didn't get it, right? And I don't know why. It was one of those movies where I don't know. I was just like, is that supposed to be funny? I don't know why. But subsequently, when I watched it, I'm like, this movie's quite funny. You just have
Yeah.
to be in the right mood and you gotta
Yeah.
you gotta understand the sarcasm and you gotta watch Chevy Chase's face and stuff, right? To really understand what the comedy is.
Yeah.
And again, I was watching it last night and it was like late at night, but I was laughing to myself. I was just watching by myself. But I was
Yeah.
laughing because it's like just the silliness of it. And yeah, I don't know. It's just there's something kind of funny about it, right?
Yeah. You
But a
find
lot of people don't get it.
you find some things that are not politically correct, that there's no way they could make a movie like this.
Yeah.
No, it makes it actually even funnier. It makes
Oh,
it.
for sure. Like in hindsight, like go watch Beverly Hills Cop right now, right? I mean, it was funny when it first came out, but it's even funnier now because of
Yeah.
things you couldn't do and say,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, but it's Eddie Murphy and he can get away with anything, right?
Yeah.
And he does. And I just saw like a thing about the whole scene with Serge, at the art gallery, and that was ad-libbed. Like they ad-libbed it. So they're like, here's kind of what we want you to do, but they were just riffing off each other,
Huh.
right? Bronson Pinchot and Eddie Murphy, and they just ad-libbed it. And you can see Eddie just has a little twinkle in his eye, right? Because he's laughing at how funny this guy's playing that character, right?
Yeah.
Serge. Oh, it's delicious. I make it with a little twist of lime. And Eddie's just like, he's smiling. Get the hell out of here. It's just that whole scene is just hilarious, right? But they just kind of ad-libbed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like you couldn't do that now. I don't think you could do that scene and have a guy overplaying like an obviously gay character,
Yeah.
right? Even though they don't really say it or anything, it's obvious.
Yeah.
But I don't think you couldn't do it now.
Yeah. Well, and even a movie like Nacho Libre, I don't think they could make a movie like that
No, you
now.
couldn't.
But when you watch Jack Black doing the Mexican accent and the stereotypes that go along with that, and he
Yeah,
just does such an amazing job. It is hysterical.
it's
The movie
hysterical.
is it's a dumb movie, but because of that, for me, it makes it really, really funny.
Yeah, a lot of those movies, 80s and even into the 90s, they're almost more enjoyable now because it's a flashback to when you could think and say and do different things
Yeah,
that aren't politically correct now. There was no such thing as that in
right.
the 80s. And the beauty of it was, and we've talked about it many times on the show, it was equal opportunity comedy. You could make fun of anybody. And Eddie Murphy's the best at it, right? Makes fun of himself, makes fun of his race, makes fun of everybody.
Right.
The same, right? But it's not mean-spirited.
Yeah.
It's just funny. He's just
Right.
pointing out stereotypes. He's just doing characters and pretending things. It's like Key and Peele now are the only people who can kind of get away with it. And Dave Chappelle, right? Like they're the only guys who can actually do comedy like that now, it seems, where they can make fun of stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, it
And
might,
you watch the NFL draft last weekend, and you're like the names. It's like a Key and Peele skit, right? Like Jaquarius, Laquarius, Marcus, you know. And you're like it's everything. Every time a guy comes out, it sounds like something from a Key and Peele joke, right? It's like, is this a bit? Are they doing a bit?
you're right.
Like, is Commissioner Goodell and is he in on this? Is this like I expect Key and Peele to come out and start laughing, right? Whatever questions you got for me, Brady? Got any more for me?
Yeah, I was gonna see if you were ever in an accident when you were 16 or young. Did you ever get pulled over by a cop or have an accident at that age?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So, I mean, it's, knock on wood, but I got a speeding ticket when I was 17, like 3 blocks from my house. Cop was sitting down a side street, and it was kind of a wide street, but speed limit was 25 or 30, and I was doing like 46 on my way home from school. Pulled me over, gave me a ticket. This is in the 80s. It was $50. And it's like
yeah.
that was like
Oops.
every cent that I had,
Yeah.
right? I mean, just sucked.
Yeah.
And like a month later, in the school parking lot, a guy was backing out. And so he was just backing out, and I was going like 5 miles an hour looking for a spot. And his back bumper hit my front bumper.
Hmm.
And I think busted my headlight and bent the bumper a little bit, and it broke his tail light or something. Nothing really bad or whatever. But now I got to go home and tell my dad that I had a fender bender in the
Yeah.
parking lot, right? So on my way home, driving home to tell my dad that I got in a fender bender at school, I got a ticket in the exact same spot.
Oh
Same
no.
guy, same cop, same
Oh
everything,
no.
another ticket. On my way home to tell my dad about an accident.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm in my dad wasn't even home. I'm in my bedroom, like thinking I'm dead. What am I gonna do when
Yeah.
my dad comes
Yeah.
home? So my dad comes home and he's like, he's calling me, hey, where are you? And he comes into my room and I'm like in tears because I'm one, I don't have the money. I already spent my $50 last month on the other
Uh,
ticket. And now I don't know how much damage there is to the car. I don't know what it's going to cost, right? I don't know anything.
yeah.
It was a 79 Chevette, so it's not like it was a Rolls Royce or anything, but um and I'm in tears, and my dad was incredibly gracious and sympathetic to
Hmm.
me, and I never have forgotten that, right? He was like, "I'm sorry. That had to be terrible." I mean, that meant the world to me. He
Yeah.
didn't punish me or anything. He said, "We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out."
Yeah.
And so the car damage was luckily it was only maybe like $200.
Hmm.
So it wasn't anything major. But the ticket was 50, and then I paid it off over the summer with my summer job or whatever. But
Yeah.
now to this day, I have never had another accident and I have never had another speeding ticket.
Oh, good.
So it's, you know, borderline 40 years without a ticket or an accident.
Wow.
So
Knock on
feel
wood.
pretty
Knock on
feel
wood.
yeah, I'm knocking on wood every time I leave the garage with that. But then I'm warning my soon to be 17-year-old son that
Right.
this was the year that took me down, right? Like
Yeah.
don't get cocky because that's what happened to me. Oh, I got it. I know how to drive. It's
Yeah.
fine. I know what I'm doing. It's like, yeah, that's when you get nailed.
Yeah. And especially the way people drive in our area, just parking lots, you go to
Yeah.
Costco, people are flying. It's like, I don't know. It's hard enough being someone that's had their license for 30 plus years, it's hard enough,
Yeah.
creating. I'm trying to teach them, look, you got to create a buffer, a cushion.
Yeah.
People
Yep.
making mistakes.
Yep. You got to be defensive. You got to be thinking what that guy might do or might
Yeah.
not do.
Yeah.
Right?
And
You got to be
yet,
thinking, it's not just about you thinking about what you're doing. You're like, that guy over there, he looks like he might merge.
right.
Right? I saw him give a shoulder like this in the car,
Yeah.
so he might be looking for a merge. So I gotta either back off or get in front of him.
Yeah.
Right? And hey, I saw him before. He didn't use his turn signal to change lanes. I got to be aware of that. Oh,
Yeah.
there's a guy coming up really fast to my left. I got to be checking my rear view mirror. I got to be aware of that.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Yeah.
that situational awareness. I'm in a parking lot. People start backing out with no notice whatsoever.
Yeah.
Now, the benefit our kids have is there's sensors and backup cameras and
Right.
360 cameras and all that stuff on our cars now, which
Yeah.
help. But you still gotta pay attention, right, to what other people are doing.
Yeah. And the material that they make cars out of now is like a plastic,
Yeah, your
crumpled.
car's totaled if you do 5 miles an hour.
Yeah, they're probably safer, but I'm sorry, it doesn't take much to completely dent the
No,
frame and total it out. Yeah, not
it
good.
does not. So yeah, that's my experience. And again, knock
Uh,
on wood on that one.
yeah, well, kudos to your dad because I think I would
Yeah.
have taken you out back and
I know. That's what I was like. I've literally said, I'm dead. I'm like, he is, yeah, I'm never going to drive again. Right. I'll never
right.
have friends ever in my life. He was
Yeah,
just, because my dad was sensitive about cars and stuff.
well, sure. Yeah,
But he saw the anguish, I think, in my eyes and
yeah,
realized this was not the time to pile on, right?
right.
And it was the right thing to do. And it
Yeah,
made a huge impact on me, I think, just in terms of like, hey, my dad's a nice guy after all, right? It's
yeah,
like he's not a mean ogre.
yeah,
And I think that was, because what are you going to do? I've already made the mistake,
yeah.
right? I'm completely aware of the mistake that I have made, and I am in my head not ever going to make that mistake again, and I haven't,
Hmm.
right? So it didn't require a punishment on top of the $50 for the ticket.
Yeah. It just
So,
it,
in
it,
fact, I think I used a plunger to pull the dent out, right? Like literally, and it worked, right?
it
It
is.
was
Oh
like,
wow.
so we only had to like replace the headlight or something in a little trim piece.
Nice. Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah.
any other questions, Brady? Otherwise, I got mind the gap. I was going to go through,
Oh
give you
yeah,
some
let's do
gen,
that.
give you a Gen X question here, and as last time, they print this stuff. It's like size 3 font on here, so I can't even read it with my glasses.
Yeah.
Okay, see, to me, this isn't even a Gen X question, but what show starred a young Neil Patrick Harris as a medical prodigy while also navigating teenage issues?
Oh, that's Doogie Howser.
Yeah, that's Doogie Howser. And I would have known that, but I never watched that show. I
Yeah.
was an adult by the time that show
Yeah.
came out.
I
So,
never I never watched that one either. Yeah.
uh, if a guy wanted to style his hair like Michael Jackson or Lionel Richie, he would buy the curly kit. What was the name of the hairstyle?
Jerry Curl.
It's a Jerry curl, right? Yep, that's right. And what's
Yeah.
funny about that is I'm thinking about talking about Eddie Murphy again and Coming to America when that
Yeah.
character used the soul glow. Remember that? Soul
Yeah.
glow.
Let your
And it
soul glow. Yeah.
let your soul glow. Yeah, that was the theme song, right? And it was just like this wet, shiny look, right? And that was a thing for a while.
Oh yeah.
And all of the people got up from the couch and there was a wet spot behind their hair.
That was
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, that was hilarious, right? Uh, what was considered Bruce Springsteen's breakout album in 1975, his third studio album, which also was the name for the title track.
Oh, uh, what is it? Born to be, no, born, what is it? Born free or born, uh,
You're on it. Born to Run was the
born
name
to
of that
run.
one.
Yeah, there you
He'd
go.
like to do that because then he's born in the USA, and so
Yeah,
I didn't listen to Springsteen until probably 84, 85 when that other probably his most popular album came out there in the mid 80s,
yeah.
and MTV, and he was dancing with Courtney Cox, right? That's
Mm.
the famous that what made Courtney Cox famous. They just pulled her up out of the crowd and she had a short haircut and
Yeah, that's right.
she became a star.
Yeah. Well, and back
Uh
then, you remember how important, how big MTV was.
it was huge. You had to be a video star to
Yeah,
make it.
yeah, yeah. It was huge. Watching, you couldn't record it, so you'd watch the
Yeah.
countdown until it got to your favorite song, which would be hours later.
Yeah.
It
And I
was,
think maybe we mentioned it, but those original VJs are like in their late 70s
yeah,
because this is 40 years ago, right?
yeah.
So they were like 30 years old and now they're in their 70s, the
Wow.
VJs.
Oh man.
Um, it's hard to understate how big of a movement videos was and how big MTV was in like 1983, 1984, 1985. It was huge. It was mammoth. What's interesting is it faded, and who watches videos now, right? Like
No. Yeah.
and in fact, MTV, they stopped playing videos in like 1988, right?
Ah,
They went to reality shows, right? It's like,
yeah.
uh, so, okay. In 1980, from what country did masses of refugees seek safe harbor in Florida to escape an oppressive conditions of a communist dictator-led government?
I'd say Cuba.
Yeah, it was Cuba, the Cuban flotilla, and there was a bunch of
Yeah.
uh, literally like 100 of them on a raft,
Hmm.
right? Coming into Miami, and it's why Miami has a huge Cuban population. And I
Yeah.
lived in Florida for 3 years. The Cubans are awesome.
Hmm.
I mean, they're so uh, hardworking and
Yeah.
build up businesses, and really the Cubans were awesome. And every Cuban that I met in Florida was really fascinating, and their stories that they had to tell were amazing because
Yeah.
a lot of them came across on a boat.
Mhm.
And that story was fascinating.
Hmm.
All right, last one. Though used in previous generations, oh, I even like where this is going. 80s kids loved the word cowabunga. What did it mean?
Ah, cowabunga. What did it mean? Well, cowabunga. Like, wow, boy, in the previous generations were,
I don't remember previous generations using it. Like to me, I thought Bart Simpson invented that
that's
because
where my
that's
mind,
his catchphrase,
cowabunga,
cowabunga,
dude.
right?
Yeah, exactly. That's where my mind went to with
And
that.
that would have been 87, 88 when Simpson
Yeah.
started, which is crazy now. It's almost 40 years old. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I don't know that one, what that would
it
mean.
means wow or great or whatever, right?
Huh.
That's what the card says anyway. I don't know if I even agree with that definition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I feel like it means, yeah, it's one of those words that's like it's hard to define. Like you know what it means in the context.
Yeah.
Like
But
it's like if you said something is groovy, try to describe the word groovy without using another word that's just a synonym for groovy.
yeah.
Well, it means cool. Well, that's a synonym for groovy. So you can't use that. Like define it. Like what
Yeah.
does groovy mean, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like now with what our kids and Riz and Skibbity and all that crap that they say now, like what does it mean? I don't, who knows, right?
Yeah.
They all think it means something. It means something to them. To the rest of us, it just means that it's an idiot made up word, right? It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Did you see that article? I saw it this morning. Flipping through the news stories about Gen Z being the most gullible generation based on their, uh, uh, it was based on their media. Uh,
really?
yeah, Gen Z being the most
That's interesting.
gullible
I'm
generation.
not sure that's true though, because I feel like it's baby boomers because they believe everything the media tells them.
You're right.
Right? It feels like baby boomers are the most gullible. They're like, "Oh, it's the news is still like Walter Cronkite. It must be true. I heard it on NPR." You
Yeah,
know, it's
yeah, right.
like I know my son's Gen Z and he doesn't consume news, right? Like not like we used to. Uh, they're just watching, they're looking at Twitter and uh, TikTok and Instagram, social media is their source of news. They're not watching TV news or anything or listening to the radio.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Article, that's what the article was saying, mentioning that Gen Z was the most gullible generation, which I thought that was interesting. Maybe because we're kind of the most jaded
yeah, we're
generation.
definitely Gen X is the least gullible. Like we're the
Yeah,
ones who are saying we don't believe anything. Land
yeah.
on the moon? Nah, didn't happen.
Right.
Kennedy, CIA killed him, right? It's like
Well, that's like,
everybody, and the funny thing is, it's like every time you say something and it seems outrageous to the other generations, it proves that we were right, right?
right.
The skeptical opinion is like 99.8% correct, right?
Yeah,
Oh, the COVID, didn't come from a bat. It was intentionally released in China from a lab. It's like, oh,
yeah,
you got conspiracy theorists. It's like, nope, that's actually what happened, right? That
right,
is now proven that's what happened.
right,
And it
right.
was Gen X people telling you all that a long time, 5 years ago, we were saying, no, there's no way that happened, right?
Oh man, yeah, that whole thing is such a debacle. Well,
So
anything the government is involved with, the Gen
we're
X,
suspicious.
yeah, the hairs
Yeah, the
stick
little,
up on the
yeah,
back.
like that
Yeah,
doesn't sound right.
right. And you're usually
Still a
correct.
little bit iffy about building 7 on 9/11, right? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. That seems a little fishy, right?
Oh
Why did
man.
that come down? I don't recall a plane hitting that building. So what's the explanation there? It's funny. I mean, it's like this is that's part of the brand standard for Gen X, right? Is just a really skeptical view, especially of like news and government and stuff, just very skeptical.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um, it's not a thing until we've decided it's a thing, right? Like it's not true until we've thought about it and decided it is or it isn't. Where other generations, I think, especially baby boomers, it's like, oh, a news guy said it. It has to be true because when I was a kid, Walter Cronkite said stuff and it was always true.
yeah,
Or at least that's what they thought. And they're still
yeah,
in that mindset, right? That, oh, well, the TV news person said it, so it has to be true.
yeah. No, it's maybe.
Unfortunately, now there's no more Walter Cronkites. It's Joey Behar telling them.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
somehow it doesn't quite carry the same
yeah.
gravitas, shall we say.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
we were so naive. Our great grandparents and grandparents, that generation was so naive and trusting. And then thank goodness the Gen X, with the way the government has kind of just eroded its morality and manipulating and all that. Thank goodness that the Gen X actually is skeptical. And
somebody has to be, right? It's
yeah,
like somebody has to be. Stop yelling at us for being skeptical. Somebody has to be,
right.
right? It's like,
Yeah,
gosh, it's like
yeah,
we'd be in a lot of trouble. We are in a lot of trouble because people weren't skeptical enough of like $1 billion going for dance lessons in
yeah,
Bangladesh or whatever it was. It's like somebody needs to be skeptical.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I'll never forget.
So
I'll never forget the $20 million for Sesame Street in Baghdad.
Yeah,
You know, I'll never forget that.
no, it just the insanity of such things like
Oh,
defies all logic, right? You just can't
yeah.
even whatever. Hey, I got to do a little self-promotion again
Oh yeah.
here. It's like I can, so I will. So this book is on sale. It is now available in Google Play Store or Google Books as well. You can get a digital copy there. You can get it in four different formats. I've got people telling me they're listening to it on the way to work. You know, it's a using the audio version of it. You can get the digital version. You can get a hardcover or a soft cover. You told me you got your copy, Brady.
I did. Yeah.
Got it
Yep.
queued up for your next read.
That's right.
I want everybody to kind of keep a notepad with them and tick off how many times they laugh as
Okay.
they read it. There may be a tear or two. I gotta
Oh
tell
yeah.
you, there's a few spaces there where
Oh,
you might shed a tear or two. Hey,
emotional.
I've got one other thing too, because I did have a pet peeve, and I forgot if I had a pet peeve logo here. I've got just about everything else. I got the show and tell. Uh, I can't remember if I had. Oh, there it is. Get off my lawn.
There. Okay.
So, uh, last story. I've said it before how much I hate smoke detectors.
Yeah.
And Monday morning at 2:30 in the morning, smoke
Ah,
detector in the bedroom goes off. These
wow.
are brand new. I bought them like 4 months ago, installed 10 smoke detectors, brand new ones.
Wow.
Thing goes off. There's no smoke, right? So there's a button on it. Of course, you need a broom handle to touch it because the
Yeah.
ceiling is too high.
Yeah.
So push the silence button, and then, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. The dogs are freaking out. My wife and I are running around. I'm trying to read the size 3 font in the, instruction manual and to see what it does. And oh, the hush, it'll hush all of the alarms for 8 to 10 minutes. And then
Oh,
if there's still smoke, it'll go off again. Well, there wasn't smoke the first time.
oh,
So,
geez.
yep, 8 to 10 minutes later, goes
Ah,
off. And of course, they're all connected. So now 10 smoke detectors going off.
ah,
So I get the ladder, I crawl up there, I yank the thing, I unplug it, and then you have to like completely deactivate it. Like there's no battery. It's like an internal battery that can't be removed.
oh.
So you have to like deactivate it, essentially ruin it forever.
Oh,
So
really?
there's 40 bucks down the drain. I have no idea why it went off. There was no smoke.
Huh.
And there's like 10 different things. It chirps this way and it means that, and none of them explained what was happening.
Wow.
So, am I going to call the company and complain? Probably, but it's like, you
That's,
know, uh, 2 o'clock in the morning on a Monday morning. That's just what
yeah,
you want.
that's a
So, you
terrible
smoke detector,
design.
yeah, you people out there who make smoke detectors, you all suck. Like these are terrible. Like what an awful thing. Like there's got to be a better way,
There
right?
wasn't a pack of Marlboros on your wife's nightstand, was there?
No, there wasn't. And that makes me laugh because I've been watching the Dick Van Dyke show this last week.
Okay.
That show is hilarious.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's just funny. It's from 60 to like 66. Mary Tyler Moore, by the way, if you didn't know, she was beautiful.
Yeah.
Like she was beautiful. Dick Van Dyke is hilarious. The
Yeah.
show is funny. And it's just that time period where I just love it. Like
Yeah.
just everything about it is funny and uh, reminds me of that time period. And she's at home and she's making dinner and just I don't know. Everything about it is just funny. It's like watch the Dick Van Dyke show. You can get it. It's on the Roku channel. It's probably on other places too, but Dick Van Dyke is still alive. He's 100 years old. It's unbelievable. The guy
Yeah.
is amazing,
Yeah.
right? But
Especially
do
with
yourself,
battling
yeah.
alcoholism and all of that like he did. I mean, he's wow.
It's
He
amazing. I
pulled
saw
it off.
him like a year ago and he was doing a little tap dance, like on a runway, on a red carpet thing somewhere. 99 years old, doing a little shtick still. Like
Wow.
it's just amazing, right? It's
Yeah.
like, but the
Yeah.
show is funny. Mary Tyler Moore is beautiful. It's like it's just a fun show to watch. This is what life was like in the early 60s,
Yeah.
right? It's just I don't it's so adults having parties and
Yeah.
it's just I don't know. There's just something
Simple.
about it. It's
Really,
just great.
really simple. Yeah.
Yeah, it was simple, but it's funny and
Yeah.
you do yourself a favor, watch that show. Just watch a couple episodes. You'll enjoy it, right? All right. The clock on the wall tells me that we probably need to wrap stuff up. I see
Yeah.
that it might be raining out at my house. Maybe I'll go run around in the rain or
Yeah,
something.
right.
Kind of enjoy that. Maybe my smoke detectors will go off. They detect rain or
That's
something, right?
right.
I don't want smoke. I want flame detectors, right? I want a
Yeah.
thing. It doesn't detect anything until there's like flame.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm
It's,
sure people are like, yeah, you say that now, but when your house burns down, it's like, yeah, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't care
uh,
about it. Hey, remember to hit like and subscribe on our YouTube channel or our Spotify channel, or you can catch us on X. We make some comments there from time to time. We're also on Amazon Music. You can listen to us on iHeartRadio. If you have an Audible subscription, you can listen on Audible. There's every possible way that you can conceivably watch or enjoy the show is available to you. We want to make it easy for you, the
right.
listener, the viewer, right? We're all about that.
Yeah.
And I just found out that this week we are on UHF channel 75 in Gila Bend, right here in our very own state of Arizona.
All right.
Gila Bend is the name
Elon.
of a town in Arizona.
Welcome. Welcome, welcome.
And they have there's a great motel there. It's the space something, I don't know, but there's like a spaceship. It's like that's the
Oh,
logo is a spaceship on it, and it's in Gila Bend.
hmm.
Used to drive through there every time on the way down to Rocky Point, Mexico. But UHF Channel 75 or Los Canal 27, I can't remember. Cinco 20, no, I don't know. Siete cinco. That might be what it is. So somebody, for our Spanish speaking people, please help me know what 75 is in Spanish. Siete cinco, I
Yeah,
think.
that sounds right.
Something like that. Something like that, right?
And
All right, for Brady and myself, we hope you enjoy the rest of whatever is left of your weekend. We're going to try to squeeze a few drops out of free time here
yeah,
at the end of the day. But we thank you for tuning in, and we hope you have a great Cinco de Mayo. I
Mayo.
got that right. Have a margarita on us and enjoy yourself, but just be home, take an Uber when the streetlights come on, right? For
Okay.
Brady and myself, we will see you next time
Have a
on the
good
Gen
week.
X Rewind podcast. Brady, we will talk to you again then.
All right. We'll see you. Have a good week.
All right. Bye bye.